Welcome students. Previous video we see methods of measurement of national income, output method. So today we see second method, income method. So what is meant by income method? See, this method of measuring national income is also known as factor cost method. This method estimates national income from the distribution side. According to this method, the income payments received by all citizens of a country in a particular year are added up, that is, income that accrue to all factors of production by way of rents, wages, interest, and profit are all added together. But income received in the form of transfer payment are ignored. The data pertaining to income are obtained from different sources. For instance, for income tax returns, reports, book of accounts, as well as estimate of small income. GNP can be treated as the sum of factors income earned as a result for undertaking income activities on the part of resources owners of reflected in the production of the total output of goods and services during any given time period. Thus, GNP according to income method is calculated as follow. NI is equal to rent plus wages plus interest plus profit plus mixed income plus net income from abroad. That means NI is equal to R plus W plus I plus P plus MI plus in bracket X minus M. That means in this method the income payments received by all citizens of a country in a particular year are added up, but income received in the form of transfer payments are ignored. So students, we have taken some precautions using when this method. First precautions, transfer income or transfer payment like as scholarship, gifts, donation, charity, old age pension, unemployment allowances, etc. should be ignored. Then second precautions is all unpaid services like service of a housewife, teacher teaching her his child should be ignored. Third precaution is any income from sale of second hand goods like cars, house, etc. should be ignored. Then next precautions is income from sales of shares and bonds should be ignored as they do not add anything to the real national income. Next one, revenue received by the government through direct tax should be ignored as it is only a transfer of income. Next one, undistributed profit to companies, income from government properties and profit from public enterprise such as water supply should be ignored. Then next one, impute value of production keep for self consumption and imputed rent of owner occupied house should be included. So in India, National Income Committee of the Central Statistical Organization use the income method for adding up the income arising from trade, transport, professional and liberal arts, public administration and domestic services. Okay, we see next point. Next method, expenditure method. This method of measuring national income is also known as outlay method. According to this method, the total expenditure incurred by the society in a particular year is added together. Income can be spent either on consumer goods or on capital goods. Thus, we can get national income by summing up all the consumption, expenditure and investment expenditure made by all individuals, firms as well as the government for a country during a year. Thus, gross national product is found by adding up NI is equal to C plus I plus G plus in bracket X minus M bracket complete plus in bracket r minus p. That means in this method, the total expenditure made by all individuals, firms as well as the government of a country during a year is added up. So students, what is the C? What is the I, G, X minus M, R minus P? So we see what is meant by C. First, C means private final consumption expenditure. Private final consumption expenditure by household on non-durable goods such as food which are used immediately. Expenditure on durable goods such as car, computer, television, set, washing machine, etc., which are generally used for a long period of time, and expenditure on service like transport service, medicine service, etc. In short form, it includes expenditure on non-durable goods, durable goods and services. Then what is meant by I? I means gross domestic private investment expenditure. So it refers to expenditure made by private business on replacement, renewals and new investment. Then G. What is meant by G? G means government final consumption and investment expenditure. Government final consumption expenditure refers to the expenditure incurred by government on various administrative service like as law and orders, defense, education, health, etc. Government's investment expenditure refers to the expenditure incurred by government on creating infrastructure facilities like constructions of roads, railways, bridges, dams, canals, which are used by business sector for production of goods and services in any economy. And what is meant by X minus M? That means net foreign investment and foreign exports. It refers to the difference between exports and imports of a country during a period of a time. And last one, R minus P, net receipts. The difference between expenditure incurred by foreigners on domestic goods and services, that means R, and expenditure incurred abroad by residents on foreign goods and services, that means P. So students, we see precautions on expenditure method. See, first precautions is expenditure on all intermediate goods and services should be ignored in order to avoid double counting. Second precautions is expenditure on the repurchase of second-hand goods should be ignored. It is not incurred on currently produce goods. Third one, expenditure on transport payment like as scholarship, old age pension, unemployment allowances, etc. should be ignored. Next one, expenditure on repurchase of financial assets such as shares, bonds, debentures, etc. should not be included, as such transaction do not added to the flow of goods and services. And next one, indirect tax should be deducted. And next one, expenditure on final goods and services should be included. And last one, subsidies should be included. So students, out of these methods, the output methods and income methods are extensively used. In advanced countries like USA and UK, the income method is popular. Expenditure method is rarely used by any country because of practical difficulties. In India, the Central Statistical Organization adopt combination of both output method and income method to estimate national income of India. See students, we see next point, difficulties in the measurement of national income. There are various difficulties in the measurement of national income. First difficulties is theoretical difficulties or conceptual difficulties. First, transfer payments. Individuals gets pension, unemployment allowances, etc. But whether this transfer payment should be included in national income or not, it is major problem. One hand, they are a part of individual income, and the other hand, they are part of government expenditure. Hence, these transfer payments are not included in national income. This is a first theoretical difficulties in measurement of national income. Second difficulties is illegal income. Illegal income like income from gambling, black marketing, theft, smuggling, etc. are not included in national income. Then third difficulties is unpaid service. For the purpose of calculating national income, only paid goods and services are considered. However, there are a number of unpaid services which are not accounted for in the calculation of national income. For example, services of housewives and the services provided out of love, affection, mercy, sympathy, charity, etc. are not included in national income. Next one, production for self-consumption. The product kept to self-consumption by the farmer and other allied producers do not enter the market. Hence, it is not accounted for in national income. Next one, income of foreign firms. According to International Money Fund market, hence it is not accounted for in national income. Next one, income of foreign firms. According to International Money Fund, income of foreign firm should be included in the national income of the country where the firm actually undertaken the production work. Next one, valuation of government services. Government provides a number of public services such as law and orders, defense, public administration, education, health service, etc. The calculation of these services at market price is different as real value of this service is not known. Therefore, it is a difficulty to calculate national income. And last one, changing price level. Difficulties in calculating national income also arise due to changes in price level. For example, when the price level rises, the national income may show an increases even though the production may have decreases. Also, when the price level falls, the national income may show decreases even though there may be an increases in production. This is a theoretical difficulties in the measurement of national income. So we see practical difficulties or statistical difficulties. See, first practical difficulties is a problem of double counting. See, what is mean by problem of double counting? The greatest difficulty in calculating national income is of double counting. It arises from the failure to distinguish properly between a final and intermediate product. For example, flour used by bakers is an intermediate product and that by a household is a final product. Then second one is existence of non-monetized sector. In India, especially in rural areas, there exists a non-monetized sector. Agriculture, still being in the nature of subsistence farming, a major part of production is partly exchanged for other goods and services. It is excluded while counting national income. Third one, inadequate and unreliable data. Adequate and correct data on production and cost data relating to crops, fisheries, animal husbandry, forestry, construction workers, small enterprises, etc. are not available in developing countries. Besides, this data on unearned income, consumption and investment expenditure of rural and urban population are also not available. These do not reveal the actual size of national income. Then next one, depreciation. Depreciation refers to wear and tear of capital assets due to their use in process of production. There are no uniform, common or accepted standard rates of depreciation applicable to the various capital assets. Thus, it is difficult to make correct deduction of depreciation. Next one, capital gains or losses. Capital gains or capital losses which occur to the property owners by increase or decrease in the market value of their capital assets or change in demand are not included in the national income because these changes do not result from current income activities. Next one, illiteracy and ignorance. Due to ignorance and illiteracy, small producers not keep an account for their production, so they cannot give information about the quantity or value of their output. The next one, difficulties in the classification of working population. In India, working population is not clearly defined. For instance, or for example, farmers in India are not engaged in agriculture round the year. Obviously, in the off season, they engage themselves in alternative occupation. In such a case, it is very difficult to identify their income from a particular occupation. And last one, valuation of inventories. Raw material, intermediate goods, semi-finished and finished product in the stock of the producers are known as inventories. Any mistake in measuring the value of inventories will distort the value of the final production of producers. Therefore, valuation of inventories requires carefully assessments. So students, I hope you understand difficulties in measurement of national income. Thank you students.